Cold, reserved, mysterious. The youngest and most respected president SK ever had, now elected for the second time. Never involved in scandals. Always 10 steps ahead in politics. His words are few, his impact louder than any storm. Known for his intelligence, composure, signature black suits, and eyes that hide every emotion behind layers of steel, behind closed doors. Only one woman makes him laugh, soften, touch, and protect like a madman, his wife. Daughter of a well-known minister, raised in a household of rules, silence, and social masks. Divorced once, her husband cheated just 5 months into the marriage. She walked out with her dignity and ambition, built her fashion brand Alira from scratch, now owns studios in 4 major cities. Beautiful, poised, strong-willed, knows how to win a room, stun a gala, and silence any insult with one look. Married KIMTAEHYUNG last year in a wedding so exclusive only 50 elite guests were allowed. The media called it the wedding of the century where fire met ice and melted the whole country. Bright, clever, and observant. Live 6 months with her father Taehyung and 6 with her biological mother Minha. She has a complicated relationship with both sides, but is especially curious about Won, her new stepmother. Last seen 6 months ago, now returning home soon. Married Taehyung at 27, divorced at 30. Took heavy alimony despite being the one who left him. She used to be the first lady until she wanted freedom, glamour, and cash. Now watching from the shadows, she wears my crown now. Let's see how long it fits. Private, intimate, soft in shadows, powerful in public. Won designs all of Taehyung's presidential suits, a personal promise she made. No stylists allowed. They share late-night talks, stolen kisses behind his office door, and flirty texts even in parliament breaks. After 6 months of marriage and no daughter around, they got comfortable, understood each other deeply, and slowly fell in love. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was adult, real, beautiful. And now, it's about to be tested. Setting, presidential residence, private living quarters, 9:30 p.m. vibe, warm lighting, soft jazz playing in background, love in the air. The walls of the Blue House were quiet, the world outside still pulsing with politics, meetings, scandals, and headlines. But inside these private quarters, it was just them. Won sat on the velvet couch, sketchpad in her lap, a pencil tucked behind her ear. Her fingers moved swiftly, the sharp lines of a new suit design forming beneath her touch. She wore an oversized silk robe with Taehyung's, obviously with her messy bun threatening to collapse. Just then, click, the door opened. Taehyung walked in, the sleeves of his white shirt rolled up, tie loosened, hair a little messy from the long hours. He exhaled a chuckle, walking to her without another word. He sat beside her and reached for the sketchpad. Taehyung softly, "You are working again." Won, you said you needed new pieces for your ASEAN visit next week. Remember, dark blue, classic lapel. Sharp but soft, she flipped the page dramatically. Ta-da tilde tailored to perfection. Taehyung tilting his head. Do you design for me because you're my wife? Or because you enjoy making me look like the sexiest man alive? Won smirking, both, but mostly for the clout. You're my walking billboard, baby. He shook his head, smiling, that smile only she ever got to see. Then gently, he took her hand and brought it to his lips, kissing the back of it softly. Taehyung quietly, "You know, I don't say it enough. Thank you." Won surprised, "For?" Taehyung, "For staying, for understanding, for loving me through my silences." Won swallowed, the air shifting just slightly. Her fingers curled into his. Won whispering, "I married the president, not the silence." He pulled her into his lap suddenly, making her yelp in surprise. Taehyung murmured, "You married KIMTAEHYUNG, not just the president." He leaned in, his nose brushing hers. "You're mine, just like I'm yours." Won teasing, "I better be. I'm designing your entire wardrobe for free." Taehyung smirking, Then you're getting paid in kisses. She rolled her eyes, but the smile blooming on her lips gave her away. He kissed her, not rushed, not passionate, but slow, deep, full of all the things he never said in words. His fingers brushed down her cheek, her hands found the collar of his shirt. In that moment, under the soft golden lights of their private sanctuary, the president of South Korea was just a man who found peace in one woman's arms, just as they were about to lean into each other again. Buzz, buzz, his phone, he groaned, not letting her go. Wyon reached and checked the screen. Wyon frowning, calm Minha. Taehyung stiffened, and just like that, the warmth in the room turned cold. The screen dimmed as the call ended. Kang Minha had confirmed she'd be bringing Yoonha back this weekend. The air hung still. Taehyung stood silently by the window, phone still in his hand. Behind him, Wyon stepped forward, resting a hand gently on his shoulder. Wyon calmly, "You okay?" He turned to her, eyes scanning her face for a reaction, jealousy, discomfort, maybe even resentment, but she gave none. Wyon softly, "I know you have a daughter, Taehyung. I married you knowing that. She's a part of you. And I'll never ask you to stay away from her. She deserves her father's love, and I'd never get in the way of that." Taehyung blinked slowly, his chest tightening, but in the best way. A warmth filled his ribs. She wasn't just beautiful. She wasn't just strong. She was everything. Taehyung voice low, heartfelt. "Then I really did marry the right woman." Why, in smiling lightly, "Well, you had great taste," he chuckled, pulling her hand to his lips again. "Taehyung, am I lucky? Or are you?" Why, in pretending to think, hard to say. "Maybe we're just the best thing that's ever happened to each other." They both laughed softly, sinking onto the sofa together. Her head rested against his shoulder, his arm wrapping securely around her waist. A few moments passed in silence, sweet, comfortable, golden silence. Wide and playfully, "Did you hear what the chef made tonight? That roasted garlic mushroom risotto. You'll cry tears of joy." "Should I?" But Taehyung had already shifted closer, pressing a kiss to her jaw. Taehyung murmuring, "Not hungry for food tonight." Wyon eyes widening. "How?" Taehyung smirking, "Why taste mushrooms when I can have you?" Taehyung carrying her toward the bedroom. "Nope, Chef Kim's craving something sweeter tonight." He kicked the door open with his foot as she giggled and squirmed, playful slaps doing nothing to deter him. Lights dim, hearts racing, the president's feast, his queen. Setting, presidential residence. Master bedroom gives kitten vibe. Playful, sexy, warm. Widen stirred in bed with a groan, limbs tangled in the silk sheets, sore in all the right and wrong places. She blinked at the sunlight peeking through the sheer curtains, then turned her head only to see an annoyingly gorgeous man in a black robe, hair slightly damp, sipping coffee like he didn't absolutely ruin her the night before. Why in hoarse whisper, "You're walking like nothing happened," Taehyung smirking over the cup, "because I did the damage." Not received it. Wide and glaring, "You're so full of yourself." Taehyung shrugging, "I mean, you were full of me last night." Wide and face heating, KIMTAEHYUNG. She tossed a pillow at him. He caught it easily, laughing like the smug menace he was. Then walked over and leaned down, brushing her hair back gently. Taehyung teasingly low, "Need help walking to the bathroom, Mrs. Kim." Widen, "I hate you, Taehyung." "No, you don't. You told me you loved me, Like 5 times, right after the second round. Widen throwing blanket over her face. "Don't talk to me," Taehyung chuckling. "Too late. I already made coffee, and your favorite pancakes. Come out and reward your husband." He walked out, whistling. Widen groaned again, reaching for the robe he left at the edge of the bed. She muttered to herself. Widen, "I swear I married a walking ego with ABS and a black card." Widen finally entered, dressed in his oversized shirt. Taehyung froze for a second, eyes trailing up and down. She raised a brow. Widen, staring, "Won't get you another round." Taehyung leaning on counter. Who said I was staring at you? I'm admiring my shirt. Why? Well, it's mine now. Just like you, Taehyung grinning. I've always been yours, sugar. He set down her coffee, pulled her in by the waist, and whispered, Taehyung, round 3 after breakfast. Why smirking? Only if you help me stretch first. My legs are still trembling. Mr. President. Setting, presidential residence, Eunice return vibe. Sweet outside, salty inside, and then bam savage mama mode. Yoonha tilting her head. Hi, smile sweetly, you're prettier than the lady in mom's pictures. Taehyung, who just took a sip of juice behind them, choked. Taehyung, Yoonha, whined and blinked, still smiling sweetly. Oh, this girl is smart, just like her mother. Taehyung had stepped out for a short meeting. Yoonha sat on the couch playing with a doll. Whyun brought her a tray of snacks, setting it down. Whyun calmly, I made your favorite, strawberry mochi and grape juice. Yoonha smiling again, thank you. Miss Fashion Face, Whyun paused. Whyun, what did you say? Yoonha grinning wide, oh nothing. That's just what mommy calls you sometimes. Why? And smile didn't waver. She sat beside her, crossing her legs like a queen on her throne, Whyun softly, you know. I like you, Yoonha blinking innocently, really? Whyun tilting her head, yeah, you remind me of a cockroach in a designer handbag. Expensive, but still, a cockroach, Yoonha gasped. Whyun smiling wider, and you can pretend all you want in front of your dad. But I've dealt with boardroom snakes, runway saboteurs, and real-life villains, sweetie. You don't scare me. Yoonha in disbelief. You can't talk to me like that. Whyun calmly sipping tea. Oh honey, I just did. Taehyung returned Yoonha instantly switching. Appa, she's so nice. I love her. Whyun hugging Taehyung from behind, whispering, she's adorable. Taehyung smiling. You two are already getting along. Whyun, like sisters, just that I'm the one in heels. Taehyung, huh. Whyun kissing his cheek. Nothing, my president, want dinner. Doorbell rings. Whyun, in a silk cream blouse and tailored slacks, opens the door herself, only to find Kang Minha, dressed in too much perfume and to little shame. Minha smirking. Oh ... the second wife is here. How charming. Whyun with the softest, deadliest smile. Oh look, the ex-wife. Did you get lost on your way to irrelevance? Minha fake laugh. Relax. I just came to drop off Yuna's teddy bear. She needs it to sleep. Whyun tilting her head. Aw, how touching. I'm sure her emotional manipulation tactics will survive one night without it. Minha narrowing eyes. You've got a sharp tongue. Whyun stepping closer. Better a sharp tongue than a loose ring finger. Minha mocking. Still trying to fit into my old place. Whyun calmly, sweetheart, I didn't just fit. I redesigned the entire palace, including the man you lost. Taehyung walks in, confused. Oh, Minha? Minha instantly switching tones. I was just dropping this off for Yoonha. Thought I'd check in. You know, since she sounded so upset on the phone. Whyun smiling. Yes, she told me I'm prettier than the woman in her mother's pictures. Such a sweetheart, Minha clenched her jaw, but smiled fakely. Taehyung, all right, thanks. You can leave it. We've got dinner starting. Minha passive-aggressive, right? Wouldn't want to interrupt the fairy tale. Whyun, oh please, stay, let me show you how a real marriage looks. Taehyung, why then? Whyun to Tae, gently, it's okay. Let her watch and learn. Yoonha was suddenly quiet at dinner. Yoonha softly, Appa. I don't think Whyun likes me ... She doesn't want me here. Taehyung pausing. Why would you say that? Yoonha pouting. She didn't let me sit next to her ... and she said I act like a baby. Whyun calmly sipping her water, glanced up, no emotion on her face. Taehyung turned to her. Taehyung, why then? Why in softly, she didn't want to eat the dinner I made and told the chef to make something else. I reminded her that wasn't very polite. That's all. Yoonha eyes widening. She hates me. Taehyung gently to Yoonha. Yoonha, you misunderstood. Why? An's the kindest person I know. You may not see it now, but you will. He looked toward his wife with soft, sure eyes. Taehyung to Wyan, she's just adjusting, but don't worry. I know who you are. Wyan smiled faintly, then kissed his cheek in front of Yoonha. Wyan, I'm not going anywhere. Setting, late evening, presidential residence study room vibe. Cold, calm, sharp like glass. Wyan was reviewing fabric samples for her winter line when the door creaked open. She looked up and found Yoonha standing stiffly, arms crossed, lips pressed into a frown. Wyan softly, can't sleep, sweetheart. Yoonha flatly, you should leave. Wyan was reviewing fabric samples for her winter line when the door creaked open. She looked up and found Yoonha standing stiffly, arms crossed, lips pressed into a frown. Wyan softly, can't sleep, sweetheart. Yoonha flatly, you should leave. Wyan blinked once. Come, Wyan, excuse me. Yoonha voice rising, you don't belong here. You're not my mom. My mom is the only one who should be with Appa. Wyan still calm. Yoonha. Yoonha furious. You're just the other woman. My mom told me everything. You took him from her. You ruined everything. A pause. Wyan set her sample book down and stood. Wyan low and steady. Did your mother also tell you she left your father for money? Or that she signed custody agreements with a lawyer present while wearing designer heels paid for by the man she didn't love anymore? Yoonha's mouth opened and closed. Wyan walking closer, quiet but fierce. I didn't take him from anyone. He was already gone, sweetheart. And if you think an 8-year-old can rattle a woman who built an empire from broken dreams, you're way out of your league. Yoonha teared up but tried to stay strong. Yoonha whispering, I'll make Appa divorce you. Wyan smirking, go on, sweetheart. I'd love to see you try. Yoonha stared, wide-eyed. Wyan bent slightly to her level, calm and icy. He fell hard. Yoonha softly, you're mean. Wyan smiling, no, baby, I'm married. Just then, Taehyung appeared at the door. He had been looking for Yoonha. Taehyung, what's going on? Wyan turning calmly, just a little bonding. Yoonha rushed to him and hugged him. Yoonha tearing up, she's being mean to me. She said I can't have you. Taehyung confused, what? Wyan? Wyan coolly, she misunderstood. Again. Taehyung picked Yoonha up and gently calmed her down. He looked at Wyan, his brows furrowed slightly, but he said nothing. Wyan in her mind, watching them, fine, play the soft card. But baby girl, this is just not hopscotch. Wyan pushed me. Yoonha's high-pitched sobs echoed through the marble hallway like a dagger to the chest. She was at the bottom of the staircase, tears streaming down, gripping her arm like it was broken. The maids gasped. A vase crashed in the background. The whole residence stilled. At the top of the stairs stood Wyan, frozen, eyes wide, hands trembling. What? Her voice barely escaped. I didn't. Taehyung stormed in, eyes wild. Yoonha? He ran to his daughter, scooping her into his arms, checking her rapidly. Pa, she sobbed. She pushed me. She told me I'm a problem and she hates me. Wyan's lips parted, heart thundering in her chest. Taehyung, I swear she tripped. I wasn't even. His eyes met hers, torn, confused, silent. Her voice cracked. You believe me, right? And yet, he didn't say a word.